of you. I'm going to start with Tezlyn. Three of the GOP members on this committee voted to overturn the 2020 elections. So did House Minority Leader already sort of set the tone with how he feels about this investigation?
Absolutely. Jordan has already made it known that he is going to give hell all the way through this committee like he normally does. You know, he will definitely be there to put on a clown show. I think Nancy Pelosi should absolutely veto him being on this committee. He has no desire in getting down to the facts. But once again, we'll see if Democrats take the healing path and decide not to show that they're actually the ones in charge. So we're going to just see how it goes, Laverne. But I really would hope that Nancy really does say that, you know, let's make sure that we get this committee as impartial as possible so that we can get down to the facts. And then after that, not only should they stack the deck with that, they should stack the deck with the courts. They should stack the deck with ending the filibuster and passing all the legislation, and stack the deck and run Democrat candidates in Republican counties, even if they don't have a chance to win. But hey, don't ask me. I just clean up around here, Laverne. But if I was in charge, that's exactly what I would be doing.
You sound like you need to switch parties then. But Ray, I got to ask you, do you agree with Tezlyn? Should House Speaker Nancy Pelosi veto any of those GOP members?
Well, first of all, thank you, Laverne, for having me. And Tezlyn is one of the best political minds in D.C. I haven't talked to her in a while, but I'm glad you all have her as a contributor. But having said that, Tezlyn, number one, this committee is not going to reveal anything that we don't already know. Number one, it's a political stunt here. Most of America has moved on from January 6th. And how can you say this is a bipartisan committee when the Speaker of the House has veto power? That's not how Congress works, nor should it work that way. And so this is a inside the Beltway show, and this is not going to have any effect in one way or the other come election next year. But this is a political stunt by Pelosi, no question.
So Tesla, we also know that former President Donald Trump, of course, met with the House Minority Leader. It's optics, right? But do you think that the former president is really the one pulling the strings behind the scenes?
Of course he is. I mean, he says it flat out. He tells them exactly what to do, and they do it. And they say that they're going to do it. And to my colleague who said it's a political stunt by Democrats, let me first say that I'm an independent, so I can look at both sides fairly. But when we talk about political stunts, what was January 6th? It was the political stunt of all political stunts. So I'm hoping that this committee will reveal who was behind that and send some folks to jail. So when we say that we don't know, we're not going to know any more than what we knew then, I disagree with my colleague on the panel, because the whole point is knowing exactly how well this was coordinated on the job. And let's go ahead and let's send some folks to jail. So I think we will get a chance to see a little bit more than what we didn't know.
Yeah,
Ray, I want to pick up on Tezlyn's. Go ahead, Ray.
No, my point is that this is strictly an inside the Beltway game here. The American people across the country, just the regular voter, has no interest in this whatsoever. They're worried about getting their kids back in school, going to work, trying to get back on their feet after this virus has taken over the past year.
What?
So this is a political stunt.
Well, guess what? This is where we disagree, brother, because the black folks that go to jail each and every time they do anything as such as, for example, in Texas, actually voting and going to jail and getting criminal time. Oh yeah, black folks are absolutely interested in knowing what happened on January 6th. We're even more so interested in wondering why Capitol Police did not arrest folks. We're even more interested in wondering why there wasn't a coordinated effort to stop the security like they do when black folks show up anywhere. So, oh yeah, brother, we're interested in that. So it's okay, you can tune out, but the rest of Black America will absolutely be watching, and every day, to make sure that we see exactly what happened on the inside of the Beltway, the outside of the Beltway, and it will make a difference next year in 2022.
Listen, I like to have all perspectives, so I'm glad we're having this conversation. But I don't want to get hung up on that. I do want to ask about one of the insurrectionists yesterday who was sentenced to 8 months. I'm going to start with you, Ray. Sentenced to 8 months because Tezlyn's talking about throwing people in jail. So let's talk about this. 8 months in prison for his role in the attack. Do you think that was a slap on the wrist? And I want to point out Tommy Chong. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember. He went to jail. He tweeted about it for 9 months. Right, Cheech and Chong. He went to jail for 9 months for selling a bomb. Not even selling marijuana, for selling a bomb. And so he was tweeting about the fact that how does this guy only get 8 months, and he's what he did at the Capitol. So Ray, I'm going to start with you.
listening. The guy you're talking about got convicted yesterday, or sentenced rather, to 8 months in jail. He had a trial by a jury of his peers, and the judge came down on him and gave him 8 months. So, I mean, the process worked.
Came down on him? 8 months that's the point. 8 months is not really coming down on him, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue about whether it's the right sentence or not, but my point being, the process worked. He went through a judicial hearing and had a court trial, and the judge made a decision. And so, if that's what you want, anyone that violated laws on January 6th, black, white, Democrat, Republican, up there at the Capitol, should be punished. Now, juxtapose that with all these folks at the Black Lives Matter up in Oregon and DC and Minneapolis, these guys burned buildings on camera. We have videotape. They didn't even get a court summons, let alone a conviction. So this issue of whether justice is fair or not on both sides is a bunch of bull crap. The liberals don't prosecute. You got a district attorney in LA whose stated goal was to release every black person in jail, period, and not to prosecute them. So we can have this conversation all day.
No, we sure can. I wish we had
I'm
more
going to give you the
time.
last word on that.
I wish we had more time to have this conversation literally all day. Because when he talks about the system working, I guess I'm confused on the system, because the system has locked up more black men that looks just like this brother on the panel, that those were enslaved in 1850. So this jury of peers and the system works, that's just simply not true. It's people doing more time now for marijuana, for holding marijuana, than this guy got for literally terrorizing domestic terrorism on
Thanks
the
for
U.S.
Joe
Capitol.
Biden.
So, yes, brother.
Thanks for
So,
Joe
yeah, brother,
Biden
come
in
on back.
1994.
That's right, he sure did. And guess what? I talk about him all the time too, brother. I give it to you both sides, straight shot, no chaser. Republicans, Democrats, everybody can get the smoke with Tezlyn Figaro.
Okay, I'm going to get
like
you
I
two
said,
together off camera to finish this debate.
He's one of the best political minds in DC, there's no question. We disagree on a lot of issues, but that's my buddy there, and she's a sharp person, very sharp person.
Well, I want more
But
time. Bring
I
it
got
back.
a lot more teaching to do. I got a lot more to teach you.
No, I'm glad we're
I
having
do
this
too. That's why I
debate.
got a master's in adult education, and you're gonna be my first student. So bring us back, Laverne.
All right, both of you, thank you so much.